Welcome to another episode of Shak Live, man. I'm so excited to come to you guys. We appreciate all the feedback, comments, concerns, and everything that you all gave us back. One thing we want to say is that there's a lot of people that actually gave a lot of feedback and comments, but we appreciate it if you would actually leave them on the YouTube site rather than coming back to the inbox or people that actually know me to give feedback. Because we want to generate comments where they actually are. So just leave them right there on YouTube. Not trying to play big time or anything like that. Just it helps us with the page. It helps us with the monetization. It helps us with everything. The passivity of the page and everything. So just help us out with that. If you can leave the comments and then shoot me a DM or something like that. I love to talk to you in a DM, but leave it on the comments as well. That way everybody knows that, we are getting streams and that everything is going great with our channel. I think, people are starting to tune in because you guys realize that I'm real. I'm 100% real, and I'm going to give you content from my heart and really speak to you guys. I'm going to talk about my grandmother. Today is her birthday. She's no longer with us. Her name is Katrine Bryant. And a lot of the reason why I am who I am is because she was who she was. I think it's fitting to honor her. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her. Here she is right here. Nana, man. That's my Nana. She's beautiful. And she's beautiful inside and out. Was a woman of God. That's the first thing I can say about her. I remember when I was little, she would take us to church all the time. And when we were in church, we weren't allowed to go to sleep. We had to stay up. I remember that she used to make us pay attention, and she would question us on the service. She would ask us things about what happened and things of that nature. She wanted to make sure we were good individuals. We stayed in a bad neighborhood. We were in Newark, New Jersey at the time, back in the 80s. 90s, it was rough. And when I say rough, I mean, it was rough in a manner like, robbings, carjackings, murders, things of that nature. It drugs, it was gunshots every day. So she really wanted to make sure that she was raising men who were up to a certain standard. And she felt like taking us to church that God could provide the way, out or either better judgment and protect us. I really appreciated everything that she did as far as making us have a different way of looking at our surroundings. Because a lot of times when you look around and that's all you see, violence, guns, drugs, quick ways to make money, you tend to gravitate towards that. She used to always dress up with these awesome Easter hats and elaborate wear, and she always wanted to look pretty. I remember that. My grandmother was a real mom. She had, I don't want to misquote this stuff. Let me see. Carried a 2. Wait, hold on. Nah. I'm just going to say 6, man. She had 6 children. Something like that. If I left somebody off or added one, man, y'all just got to go with me. Anybody that's in the family that's watching this, or if you watch it or whatever. I mean, maybe not. Anyway, I'm doing this for me anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right? So she had 6 kids. We're going to say that. The job that she worked, it wasn't, to a standard to where she could provide a stable income for the children because she had a husband. My grandfather was a great man. My grandfather owned a bar and did some other things. But she said that, her profession, she wanted more. Instead of her, giving up on what she desired, what her goals were, she actually wound up going back to school. And instead of putting all the stress and the strain on my grandfather, what she did was she actually continued working her job, and she wound up going back to school, while she was still working. So she would work in the daytime and then go to school, at nighttime. And eventually she graduated, with 6 kids, still taking care of the house, still coming home, cooking meals and things of that nature, still making sure the house was afloat. It's pretty cool. It gave me the ambition to push through. A lot of people, if you've been following my videos, I talk about, being homeless in junior college. I looked at those things because my grandmother used to share those things with us. She used to sit us down. She used to talk to us about pushing through and persevering and things of that nature. So a lot of my base, a lot of my push, a lot of my perseverance, came from my grandmother. And so, when I talk about, being homeless at junior college or not having stuff to eat at junior college and keep pushing through, I thought about my grandmother, having 6 kids, still pushing through, still being a mother, still not going out to the club, still forsaking her life, for other people, and still, pushing towards her goals. She graduated. She started becoming a teacher. She might have taught in Newark. She did teach in Newark, I believe. And it was rough. I remember going to the school. She taught 8th grade, which would be the equivalent to middle school in the South. And she was a really good teacher. She was a science teacher. She was really excited about her class. She would show me videos that she did with her class, that she would teach me about science, and she would teach me about things, and she would always correct me if I used improper grammar. And so, when people say, "Oh my God, you speak so well, Shak," I think about my grandmother. I try to, speak very eloquent when I project my voice because, my grandmother always said, that it's okay to be from the hood, but it's not okay to sound like you're from the hood. And that's what I want to always reflect. I want to reflect the positive image. I want to reflect the good standard. You know what I mean? Because that's what she taught me. So she's a science teacher. She always made me sit down. She always made me learn. She always, nowadays we have the children, we let them watch TV. She was okay with TV. She wasn't okay with senseless TV. She would make us watch things like VeggieTales that taught us things. She would make us watch, educational things like biblical cartoons. She didn't just let us watch Tom and Jerry. It wasn't no Flintstones. You know what I mean? It was always something of learning with my grandmother, and that I contribute a lot of that to my intellect now. And it's ironic that my profession, I'm now a science teacher. And I don't know how that came to be. When I finished playing Division I football at University of Memphis, I wound up playing arena ball after a brief mini camp with the professional team. I wound up going and playing arena football for 8 years, and after that, I don't know how I actually got to become a teacher. It was very weird. That whole phase was very weird. But what I will say is that I owe that to my grandmother, because I don't know how that worked. I don't know how it was designed, but I do know fate and destiny, and we talk about that a lot. But I do know fate and destiny, and it gravitated towards that path, and now I'm in love with science. Check out some of the videos we've done science related. You'll find them very interesting. I owe that to my grandmother. But yeah, like I said, she's passed. She's no longer with us, and today is her day. And, I just want to take a second to reminisce and think about her. Before she passed, it was kind of crazy because she had dementia. She also had heart disease. She had high blood pressure. She also had diabetes. It was a lot of stuff. I stayed with her a lot during that time. I didn't stay too far from her, and I would sit with her and I would just talk to her. It was awesome events. Like, I remember this one time, my kids, Sabor and Shakur, I named Sabor after my brother. My older brother's named Sabor, and then my firstborn child's named Shakur after me. And I remember they were playing in the floor, and being that she had dementia, she was a little forgetful. And I remember when they were playing, I remember that she mistaked Sabor and Shakur for me and my brother. And I got to see exactly how she looked at us when we were little. And she was talking to them, but she thought she was talking to us. And that was amazing, man. Like, that was one of the most amazing events that ever happened to me. Because when she said my name, she was talking to me with so much love, and it was crazy. So I know that things work out the way they do for certain, reasons. I know that, all things work together for the good. Um, so that was kind of cool. Also, she told me a lot of things before she left. She told me that, her dating interests, and she told me, stories about how she went to the movies with a guy and it only cost 10 cents, and they watched the movie and they got popcorn and everything for 10 cents. She told me that she went to the store and she got a wagon full of groceries for $1, and she would bring them home, and all kind of stuff that you can't pay for. Like, that information is so pure. And I would make her memorize stuff. Like, I would make her memorize that Michael Vick was a left-handed quarterback and he ran a 4.5 40, well, 4.4 40. And just like cool type details, we exchanged information and stuff. And the last thing is, when it was time for her, to go on, I remember that when I walked in the room, because I had stayed far out at this point. I was staying way out east in Covington. And I remember that I hadn't been around for a minute, and, she was waiting for me to get to the hospital. And I remember that, in that process, you know, they said that she could go at any minute. So I got there and she was laying down, and they said she was in and out and she wasn't really in her right mind. And as soon as I came in, she said, "Hey, big guy." And that's what she would always say to me. That was crazy. Like, as soon as I walked in, like, she knew exactly who I was. And it was so crazy. Like, maybe only I got to experience this stuff. Maybe God, some kind of way just allowed her to fool all of them and was real with me. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I know I had some great times with my grandmother. But I remember walking in and she was like, "Hey, big guy." And I was like, "Hey, Nana." You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of funny to y'all, but that's how we greeted each other, man. And after that, she just sat me down and she talked about some things, and we were just talking, having regular conversation. They said that she was gonna die a week later. My grandmother wound up living a year and a half later after that, and I wound up, you know, experience a lot of those things that I just told you guys. So, I'm just putting that out there, for the public as a tribute to my grandmother, because my grandmother was great to me. My grandmother is awesome to me. She made me who I am, and I really appreciate her. So, Grandma, Nana, as I call you, I know you are watching. I do believe that. And that's not for y'all. I hope you're proud of me. I love you and I miss you.